So I have so many stories to tell and so many things to say, but this is how I got my name, Lone Wolf. I got the auto raft. My dad started rafting with me, and before we even rafted the first Nook Sack run, my mom had died in '87, right before we were doing these trips, and no, yes, and this was actually about 1990 when my dad and me started doing the otter raft. And he was called the Hermit because my mom had passed and he lived on his own property and had already had that nickname from someone. And I was wearing a T-shirt, a black T-shirt with a lone wolf on it with a full moon. It didn't say lone wolf; it was just one wolf on there. And he looked at me, and we were taking some pictures, and I've still got some of them pictures. And he looked at me and says, "I'll be the hermit, and you'll be the lone wolf, and then we'll have it painted on the front of the raft. Everywhere we go, they know that we are the hermit and the lone wolf combo." So that's how I got my name, Lone Wolf. I wasn't something that I grew up with and so, "Oh, I love that. That's great. That's good," or whatever. No, I never thought of it before. Never thought about having a nickname before. At least not like that. I used to be Lee at one time in my past, but that's a whole nother story. But that's the story of how I got my name. Lone Wolf, as a person, is something I think I've been all my life, and that's a whole nother story. Well, I kind of feel that I've been kind of a lone wolf since I was 5. I was born in Ohio in the East, and we moved out when I was 5. And I loved it. We were always on the run. No, not the run. We were always on the go. And we never stayed in one place more than 2 years. First, we moved to Texas. We were only there about a month. Then we moved to Arizona and lived in Phoenix and then Glendale. And then we moved to New Mexico, Gallup, New Mexico, the Indian capital of the world, the Navajo capital of the world, then Albuquerque, and even a move back to Ohio for a while. But in '79, when I moved out to Washington, I saw the evergreens, and it wasn't super hot in the summertime. In Arizona's a hot place, and when you're a kid, it's so hot. I mean, not everybody had air conditioning back then. And I remember you played outside when the cloud cover showed up, or at 8 o'clock at night. If not, you didn't want to be outside. And I'm a boy; I wanted to play outside. When I came to Washington, it was different. You didn't wait for cloud cover to go outside. You waited for the sun. Then you went outside. Totally different. But, it never gets too hot here. And it never gets too cold. It's a evergreen state for a reason. People complain about the rain, but without the rain, it wouldn't be called the evergreen state. So, and without the rain and without the glaciers in the mountains, there wouldn't be the rivers. So I've been home here ever since, and that's kind of how I became the lone wolf. I traveled with my brother, but it was just us 4: my mom, dad, my brother. And I'd never really changed too many places when I went from place to place. Back in the day, I wore glasses, so I was 4 eyes. The new kid on the block, or in New Mexico, I was white. I wasn't Navajo. I wasn't Mexican. I was the minority. But it's made me who I am today. And I'll never trade that in for nothing.